I looked down, saw Abram walking up the mountain.
Welcome to TORAH Talk. I'm your host, William Hall, broadcasting live out of Kingsland, Texas, USA, with episode number 20 of TNT with Rabbi Stuart Federow from Houston, Texas, author of the book Judaism and Christianity, A Contrast. Rabbi, thank you for joining us again. This has been always a delight to have you in the studio, of course, and I'm glad to have you here. Aha. So how do you like that? That's all I got to say about that.
How do I like what?
The fact that I like you in the studio.
Oh, I'd rather be in the studio too.
No. We got to do that again soon. No joke.
Yeah,
Seriously.
we will.
Yes, definitely. Hey, I need to, it's really weird. Yesterday we had, let me find this. I had to move my soundboard. My soundboard used to be on my right side, and I moved it over to my left side because I found myself like reaching across with like one hand way over to the left, one hand way over to the right, and I would be leaning and looking and all this other stuff trying to reach, and I figured it'd be better to have everything all here, but now I'm having to use my left hand to run all the knobs, and my left hand is like it doesn't have a brain. So
I'm left-handed. That's the hand you use? Well, never mind.
Oh, man. So anyway,
that's a Simon and Garfunkel reference in case you didn't catch that.
I didn't. I don't know anything about Simon and Garfunkel. I don't. So,
you
but
don't
anyway,
know anything about Simon and Garfunkel?
I know their name. That's about as far as it gets for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I might recognize one of their songs if I heard it. Go ahead. Give us an encore.
Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. For Emily, wherever I may find her. Notes on an underground wall.
I'm not following.
The 59th Street Bridge song. Let's see.
I don't.
And that's just cold trying to think of them offhand. I used to have every one of those memorized 100,000 years ago.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool.
Yes. What is going on?
Something on your end going array or what? Check 1, 2. Check. Testing 1, 2. Okay,
YouTube.
good. Yes.
TORAH Talk.
Yes.
It hasn't come up yet.
Okay. Well, we are streaming, that's for sure. And let's see what I got here. On the YouTube page, let's see. Bang. Play. Oh. Nope, you're right. What's going on here? Yep, I don't know. But the whole new website thing has been it's been a journey because there's so many what do you call these little add-ons and modules and stuff that have to be running in sync on the website, and so they've been working quite extensively trying to get the website lined up with the YouTube channel, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, and I don't know why. I don't know anything about the website, so all I can do is just kind of be patient with them as they do this because they're doing this for free, and so and of course it's costing them money, but they're
right.
that's sort of their contribution to TORAH Talk. And so right here I see on the YouTube channel we're live. I can see it there, but for some reason it's not linking to it's not linking to my website for some reason. So I'm still going to work on that. So really sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but I will do what I can to get that resolved. It worked on Sunday. Every time we did a new live video, it showed up right there. And now that we're doing a live video, it's not showing up, and I don't know why. I would like to send Elisha a message real fast just to let her know that it's not working again, just so it can be, she'll probably have it worked on before we finish up here. Let me just put that in here real fast. Sorry to be a bother. There we go. Okay, I'll ignore that now. Okay, cool. Well, let me get the phone lines open. 855-952-4253. And I realize now that's something that I forgot to create on this new setup. But that's quite all right. Not a big deal. I will have that up on your screen shortly. But for now, let me get logged in. And so tonight I purposely did not run in with a lot of questions because I want to go over this cute little guy.
Yeah, there we go. You're up.
On the website?
On YouTube, scheduled broadcast, youtube.com/watch whatever, and a whole bunch of letters.
Okay. All right, got it. I think my camera's in the way. Give me 1 second here. Oh, yeah, that's better. It's nice to be able to move things around just by clicking and dragging. That's really funny.
Yep. Oh, Tennille Thompson reminds me, Sounds of Silence is Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, I've heard that name before.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I
mean, this is like you can't understand music unless you have certain.
Not everyone is as old as you are.
But I'm young at heart.
Hey, I'm not far behind you. I should really be cautious. Oh, man. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so, so anyway, I was running kind of late this evening getting in the studio. And but we're here now. That's all that matters. Okay, we are logged in. 855-952-4253, and I'll create an ad for. Actually, I can put this one up because the number is actually on here. So I think so. Yep, there it is. Bottom of your screen. 855-952-4253. Phone lines are open. Channel volume is up, so we can hear the phone ringing. Okay, so Rabbi, here's the deal. You can't see. Yeah, you can. You can probably see me in about 30 seconds. What I'm holding. So basically, what I want to do is I want to specifically go over this book of yours. I'm actually kind of doing a little edit here as we're talking because I want to, let me see, hang on. Yeah, let's get that there. I want to zoom into this thing so we can see it and flip around a little bit too while we're at it. So let me go to the camera. Bear with me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind. This is the definitely the show where it's really all live. This is yeah, there you go. Now you're holding up what I'm holding up. Yay. Okay, cool. Give me 1 second. I'm going to zoom into this maybe. You're right. Scale. Oh my gosh, that was a huge up. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. Just to show you what I just did here. Okay, boom. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I got you covered up, I think. Where's my camera? There it is. Okay, this book right here.
You're fine. Nothing's changed.
It will in about 10 seconds. Keep watching the screen.
Oh, yes, now you covered me up.
Yeah. Okay,
Where'd I go? Where am I?
I felt like Mr. Wilson.
I'm blind, I can't see.
Do you remember Mr. Wilson on the Tim Allen show? He was always
sure, absolutely.
He was always
you never
hiding.
saw his face.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing
Never saw
now,
his full face.
Okay, cool. I have a feeling I know who he was. He was Murdoch off of First Blood. Murdoch, I'm coming to get you. Okay. All right, so basically this book right here, it's really, really just a beautiful book. It's very, I don't know, I've got my face cut off for a reason. I'm trying to see if I can do this right here. Hold on. It's right. Man, I need to zoom in some more. Actually, there we go. I got it now. It looks like the contents. You can see this book is actually a fairly easy, readable book. It's not huge.
Actually, all I see is a white page.
Oh, really? You can't see anything?
You really can't.
Oh, no. You just keep watching because that video is about 20 seconds behind.
No. I mean, you've got it opened up to a page, and I think I can make out the word contents, but it's not a whole lot more.
Okay. Well, anyway, I gave it a shot. So
okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let me go back here then. Okay. So what we're going to do tonight, unless I get some phone calls, we're going to kind of go over this book a little bit.
Well, we'll always take phone calls.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if I get phone calls. So far, no one has called in yet. So, and I think
Hi, Cram 3360. Yes, Simon and Garfunkel is a very good group. You have excellent taste.
Okay. So I'm just going to kind of read over this, and if something really hits me hard, I'm gonna stop and we'll talk about it. Okay, chapter 1. I'll just call up the chapter numbers because this will be a teaser for those who do.
Well, can I make a request if you're going to talk about my book?
Yes, of course.
And that is, I really want to discuss why I wrote it. Just 2 minutes worth.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's so much in our society that wants to see all religions as the same.
Okay.
You know, and it doesn't matter if it's liberal view or conservative view politically. The idea is all religions are alike. And to quote Sophie Segoy, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, Judaism isn't just Christianity without Jesus. Okay. That's Sophie's title, but to her stuff. But my point is that there's so much in our society that tries to make all religion look alike and to treat all religions as alike. And there's more in our society that truly doesn't want to see the distinctions between religion. They want to treat it as if, in order to hold hands and sing Kumbaya together, we have to ignore our differences and only talk about how we're the same. And I think that's detrimental to Judaism. I think it's detrimental to other religions as well. But it's especially bad for the Jews. And so I wrote my book to not talk about how we're alike, but to talk about to contrast the differences between Judaism and Christianity. And that's what led me to write the book.
Okay.
Just so people will
wonderfully
know.
Wonderfully so, for sure.
Yes.
I went through this book at first. My wife is really the bookworm, but anyway, I have gone through the book, and the titles are just incredibly. Well, I mean, every obviously chapter titles are intended to catch your attention in general, and so monotheism and the Trinity would be chapter 1. 2, God is not a man. 3, the Satan versus a devil. I think I'd like to talk about that one tonight. That sounds fun. Okay, number 4, the nature of humanity. 5, Jewish law. 6, one person dying for another's sin, or for the sins of another. 7, the necessity of a blood sacrifice. 8, God accepting a human sacrifice. 9, the Messiah. 10, the definition of a Jew. 11, the Jewish roots of Christianity. 12, introduction and interpretation. 13, techniques of Christian interpretation. That ought to be a good one. 14, the 10 most commonly used proof text. That would be a smasher right there. Okay, so if we have time, I want to go over both those, okay? And then 15, conclusions and questions. So chapter 14 and then chapter 3. So Satan versus the devil. And then 14, the 10 most commonly used proof text. That would be fascinating. So I may have said enough to where people don't want to call in. they may want to just stick with what we're trying to do now.
Well, they may have responses or comments, to what we're talking about. So
I will try to put my YouTube thing over on the right on a side where I can actually monitor it here. Let's see. Okay, where's that? Oh, here we go. Okay, I need to put it actually over here. I still can't see it very good. I'll put it on this other screen. There we go. Now it's sort of in front of me. It's Blurry Dude, the book, Cram 3360. Thank you. Okay, cool. I was the second caller last week. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's good. I love it when you guys call in, man, and I love it when the actual YouTube chat stays up and running. It's pretty cool. I can't read every comment, especially on other shows. This show I have a little bit more freedom to actually bounce back and forth and look here because Rabbi and I are both doing that. But on some of the other shows, I can't even monitor the YouTube. So I have April Nafora's from Leaving Christianity.
Hi, April.
From Leaving Christianity. And is she on right now?
I don't know.
No, I don't think she is on.
Oh, okay. You mean on the
chat?
I have no way to find out.
Well, she would be on chat. It would be Leaving Christianity and Finding the Truth in Torah Judaism. It's a great Facebook group. If you guys are interested in checking out a nice group, just look for April. She is the owner of the group. And okay, cool. All right, we have 18 watching, 19, so that's pretty cool. It's good to have everybody.
By the way, to Neil Thompson, it's not just the ecumenical movement. Ecumenism, by the way, is actually only within Christianity.
What is ecumenism? I have never heard it before.
Like ecumenical?
Nope. I'm drawing a blank.
Ecumenism is a Christian idea to get all Christian denominations together again, to reunify the Christian church, or at least to come together in intra-faith dialogue.
Okay.
Interfaith dialogue is, and the interfaith movement, which frankly is what I think she means, is between religions, like between Judaism and Christianity, Christianity, and Islam. As I was trying to say about my preface, the reason why I wrote the book is because there's so much in our society that tends to try to push everything together. Look, interfaith dialogue in this country is not dialogue. Interfaith dialogue in this country is where members of different faiths get together and talk about similarities, and any kind of differences are shoved under a carpet. I can't really understand a Christian across the table from me unless we are talking about differences. If we are only talking about things that are the same, then the only reason I like the person who's across from me is because in that person I'm seeing myself. I'm not seeing them on their own terms. I'm seeing myself in them, and so I can say, hey, because we're alike and I can see me in you, then I like you because of the me I see in you. That's not ecumenism. That's not interfaith dialogue. Okay, that's sweeping differences under the carpet. Mm-hmm. It's only when we discuss our differences that I really get to understand you and your faith from your perspective.
Okay.
And then hopefully I can say, yes, I disagree with you, but in spite of the fact that I disagree with you, we can still be friends in spite of our differences. Hmm. That's when real interfaith dialogue takes place, when you reach that point. And most dialogues in this country really aren't real dialogue.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Rabbi, let's move into this whole chapter 3 thing, and I will be surprised actually if we don't get any calls during this topic or the next one for that matter.
All right.
Because there's so many interesting features about this whole concept, even running through Judaism, through the Torah,
Right.
through the Tanakh. We think that we were always taught as a kid, like the two biggest myths in biblical thinking in general, even as a Christian, that I would call the two biggest one is, what was the fruit on the tree in the garden? We always think it was an apple, right?
Actually, yes, go ahead.
And how many animals were loaded on the ark? Only two, only in pairs. We never really get taught the whole idea of clean and unclean animals.
Right.
14 to whatever.
Okay, Here's a trivia question.
Okay.
According to Jewish thought, what was the fruit that represented the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of the difference between good and evil?
Would it have been a fig?
Yes, exactly right.
Nice.
Why do they say that?
I don't know.
Because when God clothed them,
Use fig leaves.
He reached for the fig tree, which would have been the closest at hand.
Oh, interesting. Oh, nice.
Right. So
never knew the connection. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so Satan, basically, we have this whole idea that that in the garden was, the serpent who lost his legs.
Let me respond explicitly to a comment by Muzamil Muhammad. He writes, regarding the devil, can the rabbi explain why the devil, Lucifer, Satan, is trying to take us away from God according to Torah?
To take us away from God according to Torah.
Okay. The devil, Lucifer, the Satan is not ever mentioned in the 5 books of Moses.
Okay, before you carry that, now that we've got that thought out there, and I see which text you're talking to, we'll bounce back to it. Okay, right. So just as a general overall preface to Satan, and we were taught as young children that the serpent in the garden was the enemy of God, was Satan, was
right,
Lucifer,
right.
was the devil, the fallen morning star that cast down from heaven.
Which the Lucifer, which he also refers to in his comment. And notice that in his comment he assumes that devil and Lucifer and Satan are synonymous.
That's exactly why we're talking about this tonight.
Right, exactly.
And so all throughout the New Testament we're taught that, Satan, the devil, right, the adversary, God's adversary, all this other stuff, right? And it's like,
I remember talking to you once, and I started saying, "The devil made me do it. The devil made me do it," and I couldn't remember who it was. And guess what? I still can't remember.
You know what I thought it was?
One of our commenter people. What do you call that on the right side?
On the
where they leave their comments.
The chat log.
Yeah, whoever it was reminded me. Flip Wilson. Oh, see, I did remember.
Oh,
that it was Flip Wilson, the comedian who started the, like in one of his, routines. You talk about the devil made me do it. So.
That's funny. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to follow. Okay, so again, it really would serve everyone a really great deal of benefit to really kind of try to gain understanding on this whole thing, because we were taught in the church, even in the Messianic groups, they kind of still think most of them still apply the Satan, Lucifer, devil, morning star all to the same title also, for the most part. And so we're taught that this person has dominion over the earth, that he has all power on the earth, and God has power in heaven, whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
And that
I could have sworn you and I talked about this on a TNT once, but okay.
I think we did, but a lot of our comments in the past have come in, and we've covered a topic over 5 or 10 minutes. We're fixing to get into a pretty deep deluge of information here. So,
all right.
Okay, so I'm going to turn. We'll still talk back and forth as usual, but let's go ahead and move into this guy's.
We're not going to talk back and forth, and
that's over.
No, I want to talk back and forth. That's what makes this cool.
I think so too. Yeah. So just to repeat the question, it says, regarding the devil, can the rabbi explain why the devil / Lucifer / Satan is trying to take us away from God according to Torah? Now, Torah, right? Now, my first question is, address the last part. Is it according to Torah that Satan is trying? No. Okay, let's go ahead and address that now to clarify that misconception up for him. And
all right. First of all, you have to understand that according to Exodus 20, which is the passages for the Ten Commandments, we're told that there are no other gods before God. Okay, that there's only God. That God is the only God. Okay, but if people assume that the devil works against God and has power unto himself and influence unto himself, then that is polytheism and no longer monotheism, because now you've got two gods.
Oh, very nice.
Fighting each other over human souls.
Interesting.
Okay, which is very weird to me, because the biblical text repeatedly makes statements, and this is also in Isaiah 2, by the way, and that is that William, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Can you sell someone else my car?
Of course not.
Why not?
Because it doesn't belong to me.
Exactly. Exactly the same reason why I cannot sell my soul to the devil.
Ah, yeah, nice, right.
All souls are mine, saith the Eternal. Okay, and you can do your own search for that, but it's in the prophets. All souls are mine, saith the Eternal. And if God owns my soul, how can I sell it if I don't own it and sell it to a devil or Satan or whatever you want to call it? If it's not mine to sell, I can't sell it. All souls are mine, saith the Eternal. And Ecclesiastes tells us the dust returns to dust, the soul goes back to God who gave it. It doesn't say the soul goes back, the spirit or soul goes back to God who gave it. Assume it wasn't first sold to someone else. Okay, so
sure.
that's one thing that I think is major.
Okay.
Second of all, the term the Satan, and it's, by the way, most of the time it's the Satan, Hasatan. Sometimes it's Satan, but it's still a title, not a name. And Hasatan, the Satan, is clearly a title, just like if somebody says, "Hi, Rabbi," they're using the word rabbi like a name, but if they're talking to someone and they talk about the rabbi, this is obviously a title to a job description.
And a specific person as well.
Right.
Very good.
Okay.
All right, you want to take this and double back?
I'd rather always take somebody who calls first.
Perfect. Welcome to the show. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, please.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello. Do you have a question? How are you today?
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Oh, alaikum shalom. How are you?
Yeah, fine. My name is Muzammil, and
Oh,
this is
hi. You're the
regarding
one
a
who
question I
wrote.
asked.
Yes.
Yeah, I was the one who put the question forward.
Very good.
This is regarding, I am a Muslim, and according to Islamic faith, the reason why Shaitan is trying to deceive us is because of his ego, that he refused to prostrate to Adam when God created Adam and asked everybody to prostrate to him. So that is because of his ego, he refused to obey God. That is the reason why he is trying to deceive all of us against God. So when I read the Genesis and I never see any of the thing, why any such thing. So that is the reason why I was in wonder why, according to Jewish belief or the Christian belief, that the devil is trying to deceive us away from God.
Okay, well, remember that Christian belief and Jewish belief are not the same in regards to the devil or Satan. Okay, that's the
Okay.
whole point of this chapter of my book, is to contrast the Jewish belief and the Christian belief about what they call the devil and what they unfortunately also call the Satan, whereas Jews don't believe in the Christian concept of the devil, and when they also they confuse things by also using the word Satan for the word devil. But the concept in Christianity is not the same concept as you find it in Judaism.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, if you take a look at Isaiah 45 verses 5 through 7, okay, it explicitly says that evil comes from God. I am the eternal, there is none else, there is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none besides me. I am the eternal, there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the eternal, do all these things.
Nice.
So if you have a concept of an entity that does evil and fights against God, that's two gods.
Right, that's a good point.
And that's not monotheism, that's polytheism.
Huh.
And Judaism will reject something outright if it conflicts with our very strict idea of monotheism. Also, you have to ask the question, what does Satan do? Okay, what's his function? What's his purpose? Okay, and again, if you read the Bible, not in the Torah because he's never mentioned in the Torah, the places where he's mentioned is going to be in Zechariah, Job, and I'm missing one other place. Twice in Job, and I think Zechariah, and there's another one. Okay, but the point is that what is he doing in the Hebrew Scriptures in contrast with how Christianity portrays him? And if you take a look in the Hebrew Scriptures, the Satan is an angel who works for God. He was never kicked out of heaven. How could you even have evil in heaven? Okay, he's an angel like all the other angels who works for God to find out what the truth is. Kind of like a district attorney has to get permission from a judge to do a sting operation against human beings. So,
interesting. Can I ask you? According to your this one, is the Satan angel or is there any other entity created by God?
He's an angel. The book of Job describes the Satan as walking in heaven with the other angels. And God, he's like a prosecuting attorney or district attorney who works for God, who is the ultimate judge, not who works against God. Just like a district attorney or prosecuting attorney works for the court, not against the court, to find out what the truth is.
Okay.
Got it. Wow. That was a great question, Ms. Mill. Thank you so much for calling in.
And we're going to continue talking about this topic.
Yeah. Stay tuned in, Muzamil. We are going to keep talking about this for a little while, okay? So you'll probably get some more questions answered, or you may even have another question based on our conversation, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Shalom Aleichem.
Okay, so...
Okay, cool. Right
take a look in the book of Job. You'll see in the first chapter, the Satan with all the other angels are walking around in heaven, and God says, hey, the Satan, come here a minute. Where have you been? And he says, I've been walking around the earth.
Yep, to and fro.
God
Yeah.
says, "Hey, did you notice my servant Job? And isn't he wonderful? Isn't he fabulous?" And the Satan says, "Wait a minute. He's not so fabulous. You give him everything he wants. If you start taking things away, then we'll see if he's a really nice guy or not." And so God says to the Satan, "You can do what you want, but not to him personally, not to him physically, I should say."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the Satan strikes him, strikes his family, and Job doesn't curse God, but says, "God is given, God is taken away. Blessed be the name of God." In other words, he's still believing in God, praising God, even though these bad things happen to him. Then you've got a more accurate, or not more accurate, a better description if you take a look at the book of Job, chapter 2, verses 3 through 6. Okay. Again, the Eternal says to the Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there's none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man?" By the way, that means that in our Bible, human beings can be perfect.
Nice.
A perfect and an upright man, one that fears God and eschews evil, and still he holds fast his integrity, although you, meaning the Satan, moved me, meaning God, against him to destroy him without cause. And the Satan answered the Eternal and said, "Skin for skin, all that a man has will he give for his life. Put forth your hand," that's God's hand, "now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse you to your face." And the Eternal said to the Satan, "Behold, he's in your hand, but save his life." And then the Satan makes him have boils and these horrible diseases, and even in the midst of his illness, he's not cursing God. He's still believing in God and having faith in God. Okay, he's demanding to know why he's had this happen to him. And at the end, which is an incredibly brilliant, moving story, a part of the story, God says to Job, who's asking for justice, he says, basically, he throws the power and the glory at Job and says, "You can't even understand why the world is put together the way it is. How can you presume to understand an explanation that God, could give you, a mere human being?" However, and here's I love this part. That's why I love one of the reasons I love Judaism so much is that God rebukes the friends of Job, and he says to them, "Only my servant Job has spoken rightly." What does that mean? It means that we as humans may never understand an explanation that God himself could give us, but we are right to demand justice. We may never understand any answer we get, but we are right to ask and demand an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
I think that is beautiful and incredible, and it's just classically Jewish.
That's great.
Okay.
Luke Hahn has a good question along the lines of of course, the topic that we're on now. On YouTube, it says, "Was the snake, the Yetzer Hara, different than Satan?"
Wait a minute. Yes, the Yetzer Hara is different from Satan, but no, the snake wasn't a Yetzer Hara, an inclination to do evil. That's within each individual human. The snake was a snake.
Mm. Right.
Okay.
I saw a video on YouTube one time. It was actually quite distracting, actually. But now I'm actually thinking more about it than I used to. But while I was a Messianic, I saw this and I was like, how much nonsense can you get into? But actually, now that I'm learning more about the whole idea of who Satan is and all this other stuff and who the snake was, I'm thinking maybe there was some logic to it. But basically, there was this video had Adam and Eve in the garden with the snake. I still get a chuckle out of it, but
it would be like saying, William, if I don't know what, entice you with drugs, okay? Am I a human being who is just choosing to do evil or lead you to do evil, or am I Satan? No, I'm not Satan. I'm just a human being choosing to do evil and trying to get you to do it with me or whatever. Well, the snake isn't the Satan.
Right.
The snake, it's not the devil. It's a snake who is wily and, who likes to make trouble, but that doesn't mean he's the devil.
Right.
So, all right. By the way, I mentioned to the caller that in Judaism, the Satan is a lot like a prosecuting attorney in a court of law, and who goes to the judge, which is God, to get permission to do sting operations.
That makes good sense. That makes great sense.
Take a look at Zechariah, chapter 3, verse 1 to 2.
Okay, let me see if I can pull that up here.
Please, because it's important to see it.
Okay, let's see here. Let me open my desktop presenter. Make sure
Zechariah 3, chapter 3, verses 1 and 2.
Zechariah 3:1. Okay, that's what I need to know. Let's open this guy up. Main display, window, Bible Study 6, right there, olive tree, and we've got it. Okay, so let me switch to the verse. Actually, let me get rid of this thing on the screen real quick here. Okay, there we go. All right, Zechariah 3:6, you said?
No, chapter 3, verses 1 and 2.
Okay. All right, it's on screen now. And he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him.
All right, but think about the image of what you are seeing.
I said it was on screen. I lied. It's not there. Hang on a second. Sorry.
All right.
Oh, there it goes. I didn't hit space bar good enough. Okay. All right, so Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. Okay. All right, so what is your question and point regarding verse 1?
All right. This verse shows you exactly what I was talking about, because it's like a scene from Law and Order, or CSI, where you've got the judge, that's God. You've got the defendant, which in this case is Joshua the high priest.
Okay.
You've got the defense attorney, because it says Joshua the high priest was standing before the angel of the eternal, and you've also got the prosecuting attorney, because the Satan is standing at his right hand, and it says he's to resist him. Is how that's usually translated.
Gotcha.
So you've got the court scene with the God is the judge, prosecuting attorney, defense attorney, and the defendant. So what's going on here? What's going on here is you've got the potential to have the reestablishment of the temple rebuilt. Joshua the high priest is one who was brought into exile, and it's like a court case where the Satan is saying, don't let him go back and go, be, over the temple in Jerusalem. Don't let he's a bad guy. That's why he was kicked out of Israel. Okay, that's why he was exiled or something. Okay. So
let's do something real fast because we're going to keep dialoguing on Satan, and there's a lot of comments going on YouTube. So we're
but I want to finish this first.
Oh yes, sir. That's perfect. Okay, we're going to do right after you finish this. We'll kind of treat as many questions as I can keep up with on YouTube as callers per se. So go ahead.
Okay. So the point is that God, as the judge, decides for the defense and says, "The eternal rebuke you, O Satan. Even the eternal that has chosen Jerusalem rebukes you. Is not this," meaning the high priest, Joshua, "a brand plucked out of the fire?" What does that mean? Well, we're very urbanized. We don't even know what that means. Okay, Texas, we're still urbanized. We have a better idea. But when you have a brand and you brand the animal, when you put it back in the fire, it's not just to heat it up again. It's also to burn off the flesh that's come off on the brand. It's to purify it.
Okay.
What God is saying is that Joshua the high priest, by being in exile, is like a brand plucked out of the fire. He's been purified. So now, yes, he has the right to go back to Jerusalem.
Okay.
Effectively, I may have some of the details inaccurate, but effectively, that's what's going on here. So it's like, exactly as I said, it is a court case where God is siding against the prosecuting attorney, which is the Satan, for the defense, which is the defense attorney is the angel of the eternal, for the defendant, which is Joshua the high priest, exactly as I said.
Interesting. We're learning so much about all this stuff. It's wow. It can be for the new exit for the person who's leaving or contemplating Christianity's truths. This is just one more thing that's really important to consider. Because without the fear of Satan stealing you away from God and casting you into eternal punishment, it's like the eternal damnation, serve me or die, sort of fear factor. Christianity doesn't really have a lot to bargain with. So.
Right.
Okay, Jacob Daniel has a good question on. Oh, man, I had it on here. I just scrolled past it. There it is. 2 questions regarding Luke 9:29 through 31. So I'm going to pull that up first.
Wait. Okay, say it again.
Luke 9:29. Let me go there. Luke 9.
Wait. Okay, Luke 29.
29 through 31.
No. Wait. What's the chapter?
Luke chapter 9.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
All right. Luke chapter 9, and then what?
29 through 31.
29.
Yep. It says, "And as he prayed, the fashion of his countenance was altered, and his raiment was white and glistering. And behold, there talked with him 2 men, which were Moses and Elias and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spake of his decease and why he should accomplish at Jerusalem." Okay, now the questions are 2 questions regarding this. One of them, let me scroll down. How would Peter know what Moses or Elijah looked like? And number 2, does this scene imply that Moses and Elijah are resurrected?
Resurrected, or they're looking into heaven?
That's just the question presented. So you're saying it may be more like they're looking into heaven, sort of thing?
Well, that's how I understood the scene. There's also another problem with this, by the way, and that is Elijah the prophet wouldn't be in heaven. Okay, he would be on earth because Elijah the prophet is supposed to come and precede the coming of the Messiah. So if they claim Jesus was the Messiah, why is Elias, or really Elijah, what is he doing in heaven with Moses? Okay, now let me make sure that let's see.
While you're looking,
well, it doesn't really say. My understanding of this scene, maybe that's from other Gospels renditions of the same story, is that they are looking into heaven, and they're seeing Moses and Elijah there.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Pardon me. Sorry.
Wonderful.
By the way, Rabbi Muzami Muhammad says, thanks for the reply. In Islam, the devil is not an angel, but jinn, whose same as human have free will and not angel, for angels don't have a free will. So, interesting. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's interesting. Thank you for telling me. Okay.
Right on.
It's always good to understand what other people's believe, other religions believe,
right,
and why we disagree with them.
Right.
Okay. All right. So in this version, in this narrative, okay, came to pass they departed from him. Peter said to Jesus, "Master, is it good for us to be here? Let's make 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, one for Elijah," not knowing what he said. Okay. See, I see the New Testament differently than most people. I see all of the stories there as basically invented because they're responding to something in the days of the people who wrote the Gospels. They're responding to an objection. They're trying to make their Jesus look like, reflecting what was found in the Hebrew Scriptures.
Sure.
They're not writing history. They're responding to history by creating and inventing these stories.
Right.
Okay, so they're trying to make Jesus look on the order of a Moses and Elijah. When it says in chapter 9, verse 30 of Luke, "Behold, there talked with him 2 men, which were Moses and Elijah." Who were they talking to? Jesus. So Jesus is talking to Moses and Elijah. Moses and Elijah, we know, are in heaven, and the story is written to make it look like Jesus was on the par with Moses and Elijah. You might even say he was consulting with them. Okay. And according to this, it says in verse 931, Moses and Elijah are speaking to Jesus of his death, which he should accomplish at Jerusalem. So now they're making it look, Luke is making it look like, by writing this story, that Moses and Elijah understood what Jesus had to do by dying in Jerusalem. So the whole dying, saving bit is now put in a context of Judaism, because Moses and Elijah are talking to Jesus about it. Do you follow what I'm saying? This is Luke chapter 9, verses 30 and 31.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
So they're inventing this story to make it look like Jesus dying and saving people, is understood by the most well-known Jews, of being, namely that of Moses and Elijah, because they're talking to him about what he should accomplish in Jerusalem by his decease, by his dying.
So basically, they're not telling you about things in event. They're telling you things in the basis of damage control, trying to protect what they have created.
Trying to create the illusion that this dying, saving man God somehow was a Jewish concept.
Right. Gotcha. Interesting. Okay, phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. Still 855.
Can I continue with something else?
Yeah, go right ahead. Actually,
Okay,
we started a little bit late, so go right ahead. Tear it up.
Just real quick. Okay, you have to ask the question: why did this concept of the devil get into Christianity, and I would argue from Christianity even into Islam? But forget Islam for right now. Let's just talk about Christianity. Okay, where did this idea of a, devil who works against God, who was an angel in heaven, but who rebelled in heaven and was cast down from heaven to become the leader, ruler of the underworld and, whatever? And the answer is there's a Canaanite god of the underworld named Athtar. Look it up. Don't believe me. Look it up yourself. It's called Athtar, Athtar. The Ras Shamra texts were texts of stories from ancient Canaanite mythology or belief systems. Okay, the Ras Shamra text, in talking about this Athtar, says the following: Then Athtar the Awesome climbed Mount Zaphon, ascended the throne of Baal the Almighty, but his feet did not reach the footstool and his head did not reach the headrest. Then Athtar the Awesome spoke, I cannot serve as king, I cannot dwell on the heights of Zaphon. So Athtar the Awesome descended, stepped down from the throne of Baal the Almighty. He became king of the underworld, lord of the river of the dead. Sound familiar?
Oh, boy. Yep.
So that's where this concept comes from.
Which is why it was so easy for everybody to accept it, because they were already used to this storyline.
Exactly.
Right.
And they'd heard it before, look, you also have the same kind of thing in other Mediterranean belief systems. You've got, in Greek thought, you've got Zeus and Hades. Okay, in Roman, you've got Jupiter and Pluto. So now you've got God and the devil. What's it's no difference.
Yeah.
Also, you have to remember that in Christian thought, the devil is considered the god of this world, and explicitly the god of this world. Okay, in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 4, it uses the word theos twice, once to refer to the devil and once to refer to God. In whom the God, the theos of this world, has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of theos, the image of God, should shine on them. So they're saying that they're saying that the devil, who is the god of this world, blinds people to seeing the truth of Jesus, who was God, theos. So one verse, it's using the same word theos to refer to God, and one to refer to the devil.
Interesting.
So that's called pluralism. I'm sorry, it's called polytheism. It's
Right.
dualism. It's two gods, not one.
Interesting. Well, I'll tell you, it's been this book. I'm actually can't wait to go back and start thumbing through it again. You know, it is when you read something and then a year later you kind of forget half of what you read. So just flipping through here, just randomly, I'm seeing just some really neat. I like the way you have it laid out too. It's very easy to read. The text is large enough.
Thank you.
You've got section breakdowns with bold letters. Makes it easy to read. So yeah.
By the way, it's interesting because when Jacob says, "Does the scene imply that Moses and Elijah are resurrected?"
Right.
Okay. Instead of a peek into heaven where Jesus is consulting or talking with Moses and Elijah, it could imply that, yes, they are resurrected, in which case one would have to ask, did Moses and Elijah convert to Christianity and become Christians? If they're resurrected, that would be the implication, and that's another reason to invent the story where Jesus is talking with Moses and Elijah.
I find something interesting. I just looked in your book. Sorry, I'm listening, but I'm also very distracted by your book. In the chapter 3 on the main page is Satan versus the devil. You've got ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and Christianity, right?
Yep.
And you've got Zeus, Hades, right?
Yes.
When that was actually what drew my attention, because if you look at the name in Greek for Jesus is Iesus. Not Zeus, but Zeus, Iesus, or whatever.
Right.
And there's a really strange, maybe not a connection, but it definitely sounds kind of interesting. And then, of course, ancient Rome, you've got Jupiter, Pluto, and then Christianity has God and the devil. So it's very interesting. Wow. A lot of good, juicy stuff here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys do not have this book, you really should get it. If you can afford to buy it, go to Amazon.com or go to whatjewsbelieve.org. Let me pull that up too real fast because I want to talk about that before we go. I actually had that up a minute ago. Let me put it right back on your screen. Right about now. This time I've actually got it full screen, which is nice. Okay, and I put up full screen that way we can kind of zoom into it a little bit and actually go down. So on here, if you look down at the bottom, or actually about middle, it says Out Now, Judaism and Christianity, a contrast. I'll highlight that for you right there. That's on the website. You can see right below that, you can go to Google Playbooks, Barnes & Nobles, Nook, Amazon Kindle. If you're like my wife, she likes to have the paper in her hands so she can make notes. And okay, more than that, my wife's kind of weird. She likes flipping the pages and smelling the paper. You can't do that with a Nook.
No.
No, not at all. You might break your nose. So, and then down at the bottom, of course, Jewish Mission Control, an application that everybody should actually have on their phone. Great for a quick answers. It's very well laid out. Basic set of general questions, and you can click on it, and it just takes you to these really quick guides that you'll really appreciate.
Android, and for the Android and the iPhone.
Yep, very good.
The Android, I think, is called Jewish Mission Control V, as in version V2.
Okay, got it. Oh,
when you search for it on the
does that mean that
play.google.com.
I may actually have the old one then? I didn't know you had a version 2.
No, the old one was removed.
Oh, okay.
To distinguish.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so more about this on the right column here. You can click on all these. Jews believe that, and it says one person cannot die for the sins of today. Click on it. It'll take you to a really awesome, juicy section of information. All of these are just hyperlinks. You can click on them, and it'll take you places. It's really, really cool, man. I like the way you've got this set up. This is pretty awesome. So, and then for those Spanish listeners out there, Creencia Judía, that is a website that will take you. I'm going to click on it now. Wow. Why did they get all the good colors? That's nice.
Well, it's an old.
I like it.
It's a Spanish translation of an old version of whatjewsbelieve.org.
Ah, gotcha.
Right? So they got the cute and fancy, and people complain about the yellow, but I'm not the webmaster. I don't know how to do HTML.
Hey, that is okay. All right. Well, let me get this screen off here. And okay, well, cool. Well, Rabbi, it's been fun.
It goes quick.
Obviously, yeah, very very quick.
Talking about the book.
I know, and actually, we're going to be talking about it a few times over the next 2 or 3 weeks because I want to extract a few topics out of here. Like next week, we'll probably kind of do some closing closing discussions on Satan on chapter 3, and then we're going to jump to chapter 14. Where to go? I could probably look in the front. It'd be better. Yeah, chapter 14. I just remember the number. The 10 most commonly used proof texts. And just in closing, for all you viewers out there, ask yourself this question: why is it that out of these 10 most commonly used proof texts, why is it that the very moment that they bring them up and you tell them something else, all of a sudden they want to switch to the Talmud or they want to switch to something else? They totally drop their 10 proof texts because they know they can't go anywhere with it. It's a dead end. It's a dead end, man.
Basically, I did a survey of a lot of pamphlets and Christian literature, and those were the 10 most common in that literature. You know, there are plenty of others that they cite, but those were the 10 that I came up with.
Unbelievable. That's funny.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Rabbi, I'll let you go. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the website. For all you wealthy dogs out there, hey, we could always use some of your support here to help us kind of compensate for, do a little offsetting. Even for Rabbi, you know, people don't think about the rabbis, but like Rabbi Federow, some Rabbi Singer, all these other rabbis, you know, they pretty much do this stuff full time. Me, I only do it one day a week. Granted, it's like 14 hours. Actually, I do it more than one day a week now because today is Monday. And I got one tomorrow night. I got one Wednesday night. I got like 5 or 6. Anyway, so the point is, if you're really getting a lot out of this, you know, just think about us. That's all. So, Rabbi, you rock, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time.
Any way I can help.
Hey,
you know, I love talking to you.
Hey, you help out more than you could ever know. Love you, man. See you, everybody.
Love you too. Y'all
take care. And I'm going to put on here, just for grins, I was almost going to use my old closing, but I actually want to play this Shalom Aleichem. I like that song. Shalom, everybody. Take care.
Joe Buchanan.
Joe Buchanan, music.com, I reckon, right?
That's right.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Shalom, everyone. See you next week. Same time, same place. Take care.
Shalom Aleichem Malachei Yasharim Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Bochem L'Shalom Malachei Yashalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Bachun L'Shalom Malachei Shalom Malachei Elyon Min Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem L'Shalom Malachei Shalom Malachei Elyon